Hola amigos, nos da mucho gusto que estén aquí con nosotros. En esta ocasión nos engalana la presencia de Brian McHenry. Brian es el Global Head of Security Engineering en Checkpoint. Vamos a platicar con él sobre tecnología, es un ingeniero como yo, y vamos a tratar de sacar cosas importantes que nos ayuden en nuestro negocio y por supuesto en nuestra protección. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yes.
It's a pleasure. You told me that you just got into the position in Checkpoint. This means you have only 6 months in the company. I think let me tell you that Checkpoint for us was the first cybersecurity company that we represent in Mexico. Wow. It was in 1998.
Okay.
Yes, this is why for us Checkpoint is we are very proud to be part of the team. No? Let's talk about cloud security. Cloud security is something new. It's something new. Cloud security, it's sometime it was a paradigm in the way that we were protecting. A lot of people has a false sense of security when they are in the cloud. This means they forgot about the share responsibility. Mm-hmm. They forgot that the public clouds, protect themselves, but not the data of the customer. And this is why we are in this new business for us. No, it's not new, but in the case of Checkpoint, I think CloudGuard is the last 3 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, so it's been through some lots of change over the last, say, 6 or 7 years. About 6 or 7 years ago, Checkpoint acquired Dome 9, which is the cloud security posture management. It's at the core of our CloudGuard suite. But we've also added some other acquisitions along the way over the last few years especially. And it's grown into quite a robust set of cloud security capabilities, not just security posture management, but identity and entitlement management, cloud detection and response, or CDR, web application firewall, as well as a cloud-native form factor of the firewalls. So what we call CloudGuard Network Security is the quantum firewall in a cloud-native form factor.
This is a VM, you install it in a VM?
Yes, exactly.
And you said it begins with the acquisition of a Dome 9, no?
Yes.
Dome 9, they were a CNAP company?
Yeah, more at that time, CNAP wasn't we weren't yet calling it CNAP, so it was more Cloud Security Posture Management, or CSPM.
CSPM, yes.
Yes, but now CNAP has encompassed many more things: CSPM, identity entitlement management, cloud detection and response. I think I'm forgetting one, but it's now an umbrella for a lot of different cloud security technologies.
And talking about the product, CloudGuard, it is a CNAP or is more than that? Because
it's more than that, yes.
Because CNAP, what I'm seeing with CNAP is a small part of the complete solution that you need in the cloud. Is it right?
Yeah, this is right. So CNAP is, as I said, encompasses a few things, but most of what CNAP does is give you visibility into what your cloud workloads are doing. What is the posture of those workloads? Are they vulnerable? Are they configured properly? Are the cloud identities entitled in the proper way? Do they have the right privileges? But at the end of the day, all of that is news. It's a report that says, here's where I'm vulnerable, here's what's going on. It's not prevention, it's not protection. So what we also include in the CloudGuard suite, as I mentioned, is the CloudGuard Network Security, Network Firewall, as well as the CloudGuard Web Application Firewall, which provides application firewalling as well as API security. And those two things integrated with the CNAP enable us to provide prevention. So when we discover a vulnerability or a misconfiguration, we can enact preventions at the edge of the cloud network with WAF or network firewall.
Yes. This means we have prevention, And then how can we help the user to fix the problems? Or can we do it automatically? Or
Yeah, so the thing, we do some things, a lot of it based on AI. One of the things that's primary is rather than just give you a list of vulnerabilities, we actually give you what we call effective risk management, and it provides to you a visibility into what we call toxic combinations. So I have a vulnerability in a cloud workload, a virtual machine, but is that vulnerability have a path to the internet? Right, so we want to know, can it be exploited? Also, is there any identities that have too much privileges on that workload? And then we look at, is it also protected by the WAF or the network firewall? So we can give you a complete picture and say, well, this is a very serious vulnerability. It's got a lot of identities that are overprivileged and have access to it. And so it could be very dangerous to leave it exposed. But we've mitigated that already with the web application firewall. So now we're not just giving you a dump of here's a whole bunch of vulnerabilities and figure it out. We can tell you whether or not it's been mitigated, whether or not it's exploitable or accessible via the internet or some other network path. So yes, we are giving our customers a lot more value than just reporting posture.
this means you prioritize
Yes.
the more dangerous or something like that, in order to focus on that. What about false positives?
So that's false positives in any security solution are a challenge. What we do though is we've got a number of rule sets based on things like the CIS benchmarks, computer information security benchmarks, or other benchmarks, ISO 27001, PCI, typical regulatory standards. And we have these rule sets that we can apply so that we know whether or not it's a vulnerability in the context of the regulations and the compliance that you care about. So we do as much as we can using not only those rule sets, but also AI and other techniques, contextual reporting that enables us to suppress most of the false positives. But in any of these solutions, it's always going to be a challenge.
Yes,
You're going to have some.
Yes, you have some, and maybe with artificial intelligence, with the advancing LLMs and all this kind of stuff, maybe we are going to have in the future a better way to fight this, no?
Yes.
When we talk about the cloud, really, we are talking about three big clouds.
Yes.
Well, really two big clouds, maybe. Yeah. Azure, AWS, of course Google, but Google is behind them. Sometimes I feel what happened is Azure had problems. Like sometimes happen, no? That go down, my business go down with the problem, no? How do you feel about it? About to having only two companies or three companies controlling?
Yeah, it's a very dangerous thing, and we can look at the CrowdStrike incident from a couple of months ago, where a company is so dominant, one small error by that company can create massive outages and other damage, as it were. So it is a risky thing. What I do see is more and more larger enterprises adopting multiple clouds. Okay. So they diversify their risk somewhat, so that they're not they're not going to go down with one company. And that's where cloud native security tools like Checkpoint can be very, very valuable. When you're in multiple clouds, instead of using the security tools that AWS offers over in AWS and the security tools that Azure offers in their cloud, or Google offers in their cloud, and you ends up with one or two or three or four different sets of security tools. What we do is provide you one set of tools that's portable to all these different environments. And now you have one dashboard to manage your security across multiple clouds.
This means in the dashboard I can control wherever I have my data in cloud, in Google, or
I can see the posture of my workloads in Google, my workloads in AWS, and we know that they're being managed by the same rule sets and have the same tools available to mitigate.
And what about mobility with the licenses? There is no
challenge there. It's one pool of licenses. Most of our customers are protecting literally thousands of cloud assets. With our tools, and it's very, very portable.
When you said cloud assets, do you remember? When you said cloud assets?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So we're talking about things like VPCs, VMs, any kind of workload or virtual container space, things of that nature. Containers, Kubernetes, obviously very very major in the cloud as well.
Yes, all the kind of different workloads that the cloud has. No?
Yes. Yeah.
I remember the first time when I knew about Checkpoint. It was, as I told you, in 1998.
Yeah.
I remember at that time, the cybersecurity was only antivirus, was only, and then when I saw the first box, the name is Checkpoint One. It was the name of the first product.
Yeah.
And then try to understand that was very difficult for me to understand this technology.
Yeah.
Right now, of course, it's
everywhere.
This is my business also, no? But how the cloud protection has evolved in the last years?
Yeah, so I think the big thing with cloud is the speed that we're moving. We are bringing up new applications, new workloads, new APIs all the time, much faster than ever before. And these things not only come up very fast, but they change very fast. So providing security that can keep pace with the pace of development that happens in the cloud is the most critical thing. And that's really what's changed is how fast we move. We're used to, my almost 30 years in this business, we're used to having change windows and we roll out a new application into staging and production and things move at a very measured pace. That's no longer the case when it comes to the cloud. Things move very, very fast. And so the tools that we provide have to be not only able to adapt and change at the pace of the business, but they also have to be built not just for the security person. They have to be built for the developer. The developer has a lot more control and a lot more say in how things are published, how they're launched, how they're deployed. And so the tools have to work with the developer tools as well. Yes. So you need API-driven controls and things of that nature.
Does it mean, do you have any protection for the development side? Or this is DAS, SaaS, all this kind?
Yes, so we do have a code security tool, which we call CloudGuard Code Security.
Okay.
And this is not DAS or SaaS per se, it's more infrastructure as code oriented.
Okay.
And is designed to, the main use case is designed to detect secrets. So any kind of secrets that shouldn't be shared. In a given set of infrastructure as code repositories. Okay. We seek out those
infrastructure as code.
Yes, right. Yeah. And so all the tools, the CNAP tools have all APIs so that a developer, when they're deploying an application, they can call the CloudGuard CNAP and say, I need this rule set or I need that rule set and deploy it along with it so that when they're deploying their application or API, and the workloads that support them, that they are automatically by design, adopting the security controls. So we're very well integrated into the CI/CD pipeline.
Good. A lot of time, I think I believe there is a big challenge when we work in the cloud and we put in production and a container or an application for 20 seconds.
Yes, yeah. Ephemeral.
How do we protect that?
So those are challenging, even with all the tools that we have to bring to bear. What we're working on is some things that are much more oriented towards that. So we do have Kubernetes runtime security, where those are the most ephemeral workloads that we see are those Kubernetes or container-based workloads. So we've got that, and so when earlier you can be integrated in that CI/CD pipeline, and therefore when the application is deployed or the workload is deployed, make sure that the security controls are also called at the same time and deployed along with it. So even if they're only up for a short period of time, we're able to get visibility on what was that properly configured, did it have any vulnerabilities. That's really the key there, but that's a process thing. That's not a technology thing.
Yes, it's a process thing. You talk about secrets. A lot of time I heard the problem with when we expose secrets.
Yes.
How can we help because a lot of time secrets are exposed, not intentional, but
course.
unintentional.
Yeah.
And how do CloudGuard help avoiding that?
So the CloudGuard code security tool is specifically designed for secrets detection in any of your code repositories, especially infrastructure as code repositories, but any code repository. So that way we can detect those secrets, whether it's already deployed. We've got some very large customers using that today, large service providers, large banks using that technology, and even some large tech firms. And the feedback we get is that we're able to not only scan for those secrets very, very fast, it's very high performance, but we're able to do it without any kind of cloud connection. So we can deploy that into their environment and do the scanning without having to, in the case of many other tools, take their code and pull it into a cloud location and do the scanning there. We can do the scanning all in their premises or in their cloud location.
Are the secrets classifiable? This means can we explain us, please, what is a secret?
So a secret is, the most typical is a username and password. Okay. It could also be a token. An API token is another common thing when it comes to code security. It could be a pre-shared secret for something like a VPN tunnel. So anything that's like a password or something we use to gain access is what we could consider a secret.
Okay. And what about the API protection?
So the API protection is really powerful in my view, and I come from long background, as we discussed at F5, where I was managing web app firewall for the whole business, and there's a lot of API security point solutions in the market today. Salt Security, I think No Name was just acquired by Akamai. So a lot of these startups that are specifically designed for API security. What many of them lack, because they are not web application firewalls, is the ability to do enforcement. They can tell you where your APIs are. They can discover your APIs. They can tell you about vulnerabilities in your APIs. But ultimately, mitigation or any kind of enforcement of discovered API schema must be done by another solution. With CloudGuard WAF, the API security is built in, so we were able to perform API discovery. Discovery is really important because, much like you mentioned, these short-lived workloads, there are many short-lived APIs, sometimes APIs that are supposed to be short-lived, but then end up left up there. So they're, we sometimes call those zombie APIs, or sometimes we'll have shadow APIs that are published without notification. And so being able to perform discovery is really important, to know what I have, so then I know how to protect it. So the CloudGuard WAF is able to do all that discovery work with the use of AI, as well as not just discover the API endpoints, but discover the schema as well, so we can enforce good behavior. And so this is all built into the web application firewall, and it's very, very, very powerful.
What about encryption, databases, and...
That's a little bit outside the scope for what CloudGuard does.
Okay.
Where we do play well with what we call data security posture management. So there are DSPM vendors,
Okay.
and DSPM is not in CNAP per se, but it's right next to it. And I think at some point we'll probably be considering data security posture management as part of CNAP in the future. But we integrate with several of those DSPM vendors where they do much more work on data classification as well as data encryption and things like that. So
You mean for DLP on this?
Yeah, so I think of DSPM as sort of like next generation DLP. Yeah.
Good. Then, of course, I think encryption sometimes is a policy that has to be enforced in some company. No, they say this is part of DSPM also. I imagine, or not?
Yeah. I mean, at some point, everything boils down to policy and process, right? There's only so much technology we can throw at things without people making it part of the way they work and the way they deploy things. So, whether data needs to be encrypted at rest or in flight. So we, through the web application firewall, of course, we support in-flight encryption, HTTPS type connections, and so forth.
How do we sell the product? How do we... Or let me change the question. As a end user, how can I buy the product? How?
Well, from our trusted partners, of course. So we do a licensing program called Infinity, which is usually the best way to acquire licenses, and that's essentially an enterprise license agreement that provides you, sort of an all-you-can-eat. if you will, with allocations to it. And so that encompasses not just CloudGuard, but our Quantum and Harmony parts of the portfolio as well. And so that Infinity license is very, very powerful. It allows you to adopt new things as you go and manage it all from one place. And so with the CloudGuard, it's very easy to add that to your Infinity agreement and deploy that into the environments where you need it.
Good. I think yes, we have some Infinity clients, and they are very happy with it because they can use whatever they want. No,
Yes,
it's amazing. No, I was thinking, MSSP are customers of the solution.
Yeah. So MSSP is a funny middle ground, but yes, we do sell to MSSPs who want to offer solutions based on our technology. It's for CloudGuard. It's a relatively new area that we're getting into, but it is something that's part of our overall offering.
Good. How do you differentiate against your competitors? Why the people needs to buy CloudGuard?
Well, the main thing is the prevention and protection we talked about before. So very few other CNAP vendors, maybe only one or two, can offer prevention and protection as part of the cloud security suite. Ours is the only one that I'm aware of that has AI-based integrations to make those integrations fairly automatic, push button. You don't have to do additional work of API integration and
Push button.
Yeah, so we give it to you out of the box. The other advantage is for our existing Checkpoint Quantum firewall customers.
Okay.
So what we see is, again, when a customer moves to the cloud, they say, well, I need network security in the cloud, of course, network firewalling, IPS, but they can get it from Amazon AWS. They can get it from Microsoft Azure or GCP. But what they find is then they're managing three, 4 different new security tools. So for an existing Checkpoint customer who's deployed Quantum firewalls on their data center premises, they can acquire CloudGuard network security and deploy it single pane of glass as just one more instance as part of their Smart One management platform. So it's fully integrated there, and it gives you one way of doing things and all the advanced network security technology that Checkpoint's built over 30 years.
You talk about Gen AI yesterday.
Yeah.
Of course, this is an amazing new technologies that we are living. I don't know, it's amazing how ChatGPT in less than 2 years growing this kind of. And of course, what I think, talking about cybersecurity, LLMs, and this mean LLMs, whatever, machine learning has been part of the process in order to analyze logs or prompts, whatever, no? But right now, I think that LLMs not only is going to be our best helpers to make our job, but as a cybersecurity specialist, but it's going to be used by the bad guys, the bad actors.
Yeah.
No? How do you see this problem that we need to address
So when it comes to AI, I kind of look at it through sort of 4 different ways. One is, how do we use AI to protect ourselves and keep pace with the attackers? Then, how do we use AI to enhance our operations, whether those are any typical business operations, but also security operations? How do we make sure that AI use in our organizations is proper and low risk, right? So I don't want to stop my marketing team from using ChatGPT, right? I want them to be able to move fast and create great marketing materials with the use of these tools. However, I don't want them to share company information into a public LLM. So we need to control that. We need to have security controls there. And then lastly, when I, as a company, want to publish my own LLM, MAPS wants to offer a co-pilot to help with product selection. So how do you make sure
we are just finishing?
Oh,
yes.
You didn't even tell me. So when you as a company want to offer a chatbot to make your customers' lives easier, how do you make sure that that chatbot is secure? How does that that offering of a generative AI instance or an LLM offered in a secure fashion. So we have those four areas of making sure our protections are keeping pace with attackers. It's enhancing our business operations. It's making sure we use generative AI safely, and then making sure that our own implementations of AI are done and safely.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do we protect LLMs?
Well, Checkpoint has just launched a partnership with NVIDIA, who NVIDIA, as most are aware, are publishing or creating special processors just for LLM processing. So we've embedded our technology in some of their chips that are coming out soon, so making it possible to provide security within the LLM and built-in protections against prompt engineering, where someone might try to hack via manipulating the prompts, the Gen AI prompts. So that's one way. We've also launched a new product in our Harmony suite. So Harmony is separate from CloudGuard, but it is our workspace security tools, and do everything like SASE and ZTNA in that suite. But we also now offer a browser extension as well as an endpoint agent that will enable us to monitor the use of public LLMs and Gen AI tools, and so giving you the opportunity to not only monitor them, but then enforce whether things like copying and pasting of company data into those tools can happen.
We have to be very careful with that. No?
Yeah.
I think, but what I think right now is that there is a lot of different small LLMs that I can run in my notebook, and maybe I can install it in my company notebook, and nobody knows. It's like a bring your own AI.
Yeah. So
because I'm using it because it helping me. But I don't know if this has some problems.
Yeah, that's a big challenge, and you're thinking of things that I haven't had spent enough time thinking about myself yet. But yeah, we're running. I like to think of it as we're on a train, and we're laying the track as while the train is going. And so we're all figuring this out on the fly. And what we don't want to do, though, is hold progress back. So that's always the challenge with security, is to introduce security in a way that doesn't slow down the business.
Yes. If I don't know, which do you think are going to be the emerging threats based on AI?
Well, what I think I've seen already, talking to our security researchers at Checkpoint, is the fact that the level of sophistication required to launch sophisticated attacks has dropped dramatically. We used to talk about script kiddies and those types of attackers who are just out there seeing what they can get away with. But they're not necessarily very sophisticated, couldn't really launch a very sophisticated or multi-pronged attack. However, now that you have AI tools, you can take a very novice person who has an axe to grind, is angry at a certain company, and wants to launch an attack against them, and they can launch a fairly sophisticated attack now without much knowledge of how networks work, of how applications work. They can launch sophisticated attacks, and I think that's maybe the scariest thing right now, is that we've lowered the bar for attackers. They don't need to learn a lot before they become dangerous.
Phishing is going to be very difficult to identify, no?
Yeah, and phishing, so anything where we want to imitate or impersonate not just a person, but a brand. This is very, very challenging, because now AI has made it possible to very closely impersonate you or me. You as a senior leader of your company. They can fake everything from your email address to your voice to your face. One trick a colleague told me, if you're ever concerned that maybe you're talking to a deep fake AI person on a Zoom, ask them to turn their head all the way around, because they can't deep fake the back of your head, because they don't have pictures of it.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So if you want to check to see if you're talking to a real person on Zoom or whatever it is, ask them to turn all the way around, and you'll find that maybe they don't have a back of their head.
I think in this case, the phishing is because the weakest link are the human, no?
Yeah.
But the phishing, sometimes you can. I'm been receiving emails that these emails was created for me.
Yes. Yeah.
It has a lot of information. No?
Yeah.
Another colleague was telling me about an email that he received. Is an email that says that there is a file in the cloud
Yeah.
that it has secrets inside and it's open. The cloud, the file is this one. This is the size of the file.
Very detailed.
This is the name exactly. And then they say below, please call technical support, put a number.
Yeah.
The number is real.
Yeah.
But when you dial it, it's occupied. And then below there is a small, they say, if you have problems, send us an email, something like, and you click it.
Yeah.
Very easy.
Yeah.
Because 90% of the mail is real.
Yeah, real. It's true. So it's very dangerous. The speed that an attacker can mine data about you in order to create a convincing phishing email is a little scary.
Yeah. Yesterday, Emmanuel, your checkpoint country manager, was telling me about a new some kind of phishing, but it's a physical phishing, the diamond phishing. Do you hear about it?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, he told me that you receive in your house
Yeah.
with your name and everything. It's very nice box with a certificate.
Okay.
It's very good down certificate of a diamond, including all color, the cut,
Wow.
everything inside. And then you got it, you open it, and then, amazing. You are going to receive this new diamond, no? This is the QR.
QR codes, yeah. You scan it, and then they get your information. Yeah.
Immediately you get counted.
Wow. Yeah.
Amazing, no? Because you see, imagine one who can think about this, no? Because this include not only because sending an email is very easy.
Yeah.
But what about logistics? This is they are investing money because they need to send the bug, create the bug. But I think artificial intelligence from the good side, no? I think is going to help us fight the AI with AI. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of Checkpoint's Threat Cloud AI. Just over the last year alone, we've introduced 12 new AI engines into Threat Cloud.
Okay.
Everything from deep fake detections to phishing to DNS compromise. So Checkpoint's been deeply invested in AI for a long time, and Threat Cloud is one of the main ways that we bring AI to all the products in our platform.
Are there any big department developing AI? Or?
Yeah, so we do have a dedicated team of data scientists, but I think it's almost everybody's job now. So we do have a dedicated team, but we also have data scientists on multiple different development teams tied to different products, so that we're making sure that we make the best use of AI in every part of the platform.
Yes, you said about the protecting deep fakes. How do you protect deep fakes?
It's all about using AI to detect them, right?
Okay.
Basically be able to detect a deep fake and then stop
Turn
it.
your head.
Yeah, turn your head. Yeah, so there's some manual tricks, but definitely when there's being able to scan a video, for example, that's been sent, looking and being able to analyze that video for triggers or indicators that this was faked with AI. So things of that nature, being able to scan files and look for signatures or indicators.
And this is a product, you said threat.
Part of Threat Cloud AI, yes.
Threat Cloud AI, and it's part of the CloudGuard, or no?
Yes. So not necessarily. Threat Cloud AI is accessible through CloudGuard or Harmony or Quantum, any of our products. It just depends on the use case. So some of the AI engines, we're not going to need deep fake detection in CloudGuard, but there are other AI engines in Threat Cloud that we do leverage.
Let's suppose I'm a company who wants to deploy a chatbot using different agents or different LLMs, maybe ChatGPT, but also Llama in my with all the private information. And what do you recommend? Could recommend to me to do in order to be protect launching this?
Wow, that's a little bit outside my area of expertise, but certainly segmentation, manage user access as closely as you can. Build in safeguards around, guardrails around prompt engineering is probably the most important. You know, Zero trust is probably the first place to start with any security initiative, is to institute least privilege, make sure that nobody has access to it that doesn't need access to it, whether that's on the front end of it or on the administrative back end. So really monitor who has access to your LLMs, and make sure that if there are safeguards and guardrails available. In fact, don't select an LLM that doesn't have good out of the box guardrails and safeguards available to it.
This means it's going to be a good business in the future, no? But what do you think is going to be the new CloudGuard product? This means in 2 years. Of course, I know that you can tell secrets, but how do you envision this? What is going to be more, or is going to be the same?
I think we're going to see a lot of evolution of the product with the use of AI. That's where we're really investing right now, is investing in how can we use AI to help suppress things like false positives, build better automated integrations for prevention and protection, and in general, integrate the platform much more tightly over time. I think that's where, again, we have a little bit of a differentiator now, and I think we're going to double and triple down on that differentiation to where I think it'll become much more seamless between detection and prevention.
Mm-hmm. I forgot a question. Does this technology, CloudGuard, it's agentless, or it needs some agent, or?
So it depends on which elements of the platform you're using. There's an agentless workload protection, which is relatively new and has become quite popular with our customers. The CSPM does require some amount of agent deployment. I think agent versus agentless is a little bit of a misnomer, because agentless, there's still an agent somewhere. It's just not necessarily directly installed on the workload. And then there's other elements of the CloudGuard suite outside of CNAP that are either as a service, so with the web application firewall, we can offer that fully SaaS-based, or it can be via an agent on one of your gateways.
Mm-hmm. You speak about single pane of glass.
Yes.
Right now, all the products, including the new acquisitions, are in the same console?
It's one of the things our CEO, Gil Schwed, whenever we acquire a company, he really places a high degree of importance that we integrate new acquisitions into the Infinity portal as fast as possible. So even one of the most recent acquisitions is Perimeter 81, which is at the heart of our Harmony SASE offering. That is already fully integrated into our Infinity portal, and that was less than a year ago, I believe. So really, it's a really high value, highly valued principle of our acquisition process at Checkpoint, is to ensure that things are integrated into the customer unified customer experience.
Yes, I saw that the last 2 years, this last acquisition, really Checkpoint has doing very well in integrating the solution, including Avanon.
Yes, yeah.
And how do you see the acquisition of Cyberin?
I'm excited by it. So it's again one of those tools. It's very heavily AI driven, and one of the challenges we face as an industry is there's something like 3 or 4 million unfilled cybersecurity jobs around the world. So we're not going to get 3 or 4 million new workers anytime soon. So we need help to do more efficient operations of our security infrastructure. And that's the main thing that Cyberint is really focused on, is enhancing attack surface management, SOC operations, and so forth. So really excited by the acquisition, and excited by we're already looking into how it can be integrated into CloudGuard as well as other areas of the product.
Cyberint, I think, is not the kind of company that I believe Checkpoint is going to buy, no? But after talking to you, I think it makes sense, no?
Yeah. No, it definitely was a little bit of a surprise for all of us. I wasn't aware before. I got the press release the same day you did, but it's, I think, very exciting, good fit for what we're trying to achieve for our customers in terms of making security more accessible and easier to operate.
Yes, and I think this is going to be more, these solutions has to do with all the different products.
Yes.
In the case of CloudGuard and cloud protection, how do you see CyberInt is going to add value?
Yeah, so with CloudGuard, a lot of what we do is scan the workloads from within the cloud environment. We provide protections via the WAF and the CloudGuard network security, but mostly the viewpoint that we provide is from within the cloud environment. What we can get from CyberInt is the outside-in view, right? We can scan those workloads from the outside in and get a much better picture of what's accessible from the outside, what's vulnerable from the outside, and that's where attack surface management is really valuable, and that'll dovetail nicely into what we're already doing with CloudGuard.
And they are an expert on deep web, no?
Yes.
Also.
Yep. Yeah. And also experts. I haven't even had a chance to unpack everything. Deep web is a little bit adjacent to what we do in the CloudGuard part of the portfolio. But yeah, they've got a tremendous amount of capability for a small company.
Yes. Brian, thank you so much. I think we analyze a lot of different points of view about the cloud security, about the products and artificial intelligence. I think Hope, who is seeing us, are happy what they can learn from you. I think you're an expert, and I thank you for being here. Thank you for the support, and the future is bright.
Yes, I agree. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Amigos, muchísimas gracias. Nos despedimos, como siempre, esperando que esta entrevista a Brian nos permita aprender más, porque para eso estamos todos aquí. Les mando un abrazo. Saludos.